Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Finance and Administration meeting for October. We've got a couple informational reports to go over, but first, I did want to have if we have the folks here, the council confirmation of a mayoral appointee for the Director of Human Resources. So I don't know if, Mike, if you're the one presenting that one. I thought we'd just bring that up first and have that presentation.
Thank you, Councilmember Cathcart and other members of the committee and members of the council. I'm here today to have the privilege of introducing the resolution to present to the council, I believe, at the November 11th meeting to pick my successor. Allison Adam is the person that we want to recommend. I understand that Jacoby may be reaching out to you if he hasn't already to arrange opportunities for you to meet and talk with her over the next couple weeks and get a chance to know her. Wanted to give you just a brief description of the process that was used here. As you all recall, the mayor or the mayor, with the council's approval, retained basically a national search firm, but who specializes in Northwest municipal recruitments. And so they did a pretty extensive reach out. The former HR director of the city of Tacoma was actually in charge of this recruitment and the process. There were 30, according to the consultant, I didn't read all these, but there were 30 very well qualified individuals who applied for the position. The recruiting firm narrowed it down to, I believe, between 6 and 8, and talked at detail with the mayor and her senior staff about their recommendations going forward with interviews. At that point, a committee was convened, and the committee was staffed by the Prothman consultant, and the members of the committee included Alex Scott, the chief of staff, Marlene Feist, the public works director, who probably has the highest number of city employees reporting to her division, Maggie Yates, the deputy city administrator, who his main portfolio is public safety, and public safety is an important part of what we do. And then Mike Piccolo from legal, Kelsey Pearson from civil service, which is an important partner to HR, myself, and then Jarrell Haynes, the director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. A very good group. We interviewed the top 4 candidates, had a couple of pretty lengthy, serious discussions about those candidates, and then ultimately the mayor made a job offer. I could say of the 4 I talked to, all 4 of them have been very, very well qualified. They were very accomplished. Allison, you'll have a chance to meet her, has a bachelor's degree and then a master's in business administration from the University of Wyoming, so very well qualified, and nearly 25 years worth of experience in HR involving some serious employee union issues in difficult settings, and has developed an attitude for collaboration with working bargaining, but with the groups that represent those who are doing the work. And so that's a real positive, particularly given the situation that we have in Spokane with the number of represented employees we have in the civil service system. And so it was a good discussion all the way around. So the mayor is recommending that the council positively consider confirming Allison, and again, you'll have the opportunity, if you would like, to have the chance to talk with her. And I'd be happy to answer any other questions about the process or anything that any council member may have.
Appreciate that. Any questions regarding the process?
Just curiosity, Mike, the number of employees of her now hopefully former employer, what was the number of employees that she was of her department?
Well, I'm not sure the number of employees that were within her department. It was certainly bigger than our department, but the number of employees with the organization was about 500 in 18 different locations. The employer before that, the number of employees was 2,500, again in diverse locations. So she's had a wide range of responsibilities in those groups at multiple geographic locations. So that takes a skill set in and of its own. I'm not sure how many people she supervised.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? All right.
Just
Thank
as a
you.
matter of personal privilege, if I might, I just wanted to take a minute. This is, I'm pretty certain, the last opportunity that you will have to listen to me. I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity to work with some of you. It hasn't been as long, but others it's been the 7.5 years I've been here. This and being the U.S. Attorney are probably the capstone to a career which includes some great private practice, but I've really enjoyed the public sector practice and opportunity to serve the citizens of a community that I was born and raised in. So I will miss all of you. I'm not going to miss all the issues, but I will miss all of you. And I appreciate the opportunity to get to know you and to work with you, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mike. I know I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you, so really appreciate it. Next up, we're going to have Jessica Stratton come up and do our quarterly financial report.
Hello. Out of the way here. All right, perfect. Thank you.
Trying to make it so that it is.
I know it's difficult when it's not a PowerPoint slide.
I think we have figured out though, if we do it in this way, you should be able to use the clicker for it. So.
Oh, okay. I'll give it a shot. All right. Yes. Today is the third quarter, and actually final quarterly report that I prepare for the year. So the quarterly reports are a variance report, so we compare year-to-date budget to year-to-date actuals. It is not a projection, although we do use these to inform the projections that we do. So some disclosures first is that and these are regularly recurring that I say, but the city uses cash accounting throughout the year, meaning revenue and expenses are recorded only when cash is exchanged. The accounting team makes accruals, that is, attempts to link transactions to the time in which they occurred during the year-end process, which means figures could significantly change during period 13 when we get there. So this is the fundamental difference between periodic reporting, which you'll see today, and year-end reporting. Additionally, the city budgets annual figures, not monthly figures, which means year-to-date budget amounts are calculated. This calculation uses last year's spending patterns, so if department spending is different this year, projecting their over or under budget gets a little bit more difficult. So as per usual, the quarterly report has 4 sections. The general fund is the first section. That's what I talk about the most, and then we quickly scoot through section 2, which is other funds, section 3, which is CIP project status, and then section 4, which is economic briefing. So section 1 of the report begins with an important table there at the top. Here we see the year-to-date budget variance for general fund revenues and expenses. The table indicates general fund revenue is favorable to budget by 2.3%, and general fund expense is favorable to budget by 1.6%. So I will dive into these variances deeper, but so far, green light. So below this table on the same page, we see a table that shows how the adopted general fund revenues and expenses, so what was adopted last November, how it was amended during this year. And every report in the footnote, which is very small up there, you will find the exact SBOs that have contributed to the amendment. So since the last report, only 2 SBOs have been approved that has changed general fund budget. There was the ordinance that allowed a transfer in from the cannabis use tax fund to fund a U.S. assistant attorney in the legal department. And then there was the ARPA ordinance that allowed funding to go to police department for termination payouts and to CJS to fund those positions. Okay, so page 2, we deeper dive into general fund revenues. So general fund departments have received around 60% of their annual budgeted revenues. Again, during the year, the accounting team only records revenue when it is received, not necessarily when it was earned. So this is why you're probably seeing a number lower than what you'd expect. The next big influx of cash will be in November for second half property taxes. I've noted in the report that's about 18 million is what we're expecting. And then as always, sales tax is recorded 2 months in arrears. So that's about 10 million there. And of course, some of these revenues that we budget are only ever received at year's end. So there's also that. Because the non-departmental department receives 88% of the general fund revenues, that bottom table is showing you what's going on in non-departmental and how it's trending over last year's. So here we see significant growth in taxes and in operating transfers in. So page 3 breaks out general fund revenue into the categories themselves. And this agrees to the previous page and shows property taxes contributing the most to the favorable variance. And then we also see that down below in operating transfers in, it's significantly favorable because I believe it was in March, we transferred $3.1 million back to the general fund because ARPA ultimately paid for those police vehicles that were delivered this year. Okay, general fund expenses. So I look at each department that has an unfavorable variance one by one, and I try to figure out why. By year's end, most of these will correct themselves as that calculated year-to-date budget catches up to the actual annual budget. 2 areas, though, are of concern: police and fire. Big surprise. Police's $1.9 million unfavorable variance at the end of September will improve some by year's end, but the department is still expected to go over budget by the end of this year. The 3 reasons that are driving this estimation are termination payouts and HRA payments to early retirees, the need to transfer PD personnel to the general fund from the public safety levy fund to keep it surviving. And then there was a recently signed MOU between, City of Spokane, of course, and the Guild and the lieutenants and captains to cash out 4 more compensated balance hours than previously allowed. As for fire, which you don't see in this table because they are a special revenue fund, but we do look at them individually, their estimated budget overage is also being driven by 3 reasons. Overtime will likely be more than expected with the salary savings. The fire trust declined to participate in a budgeted medical premium holiday, and their aged fleet continues to need more and more maintenance every month. So due to these reasons, year-end SBOs have been submitted for these departments to next week's Public Safety Committee. So you will see those on that agenda. So this just rounds out general fund expense categories. This very small chart, it shows the general fund reserves. So with fiscal year 2023 still in the process of being audited, I feel like closeout is supposed to be next month. It is estimated that the current unappropriated fund balance for the general fund is $12.7 million. So overall, general fund at the end of September looked good, but when we project it out, police and fire not looking so good. Are there any questions there?
Questions from anybody? Not seeing any.
Okay, so I will go quickly through the rest. So pages 7 through 16 outlines other funds. Again, I've already kind of teased out the fire department, talked about that specifically. It's just a good reminder that the timing of all other funds' ins and outs is variable. It's very much dependent on that fund's specific use. Pages 17 through 22 provide CIP project status updates to the 2024 projects if they were provided by the departments. And then we have page 23 through 25 are economic indicators for consideration. Page 23 shows unemployment in the area has decreased in the summer months, which is typical for Spokane. Spokane is very seasonal with its employment. Page 24 shows taxable sales received for the last 7 months have been lower than anticipated, with a year-to-date growth of 0.95%. However, the August report we just looked at has year-to-date growth back to about 1.2%. On page 25, the last graph, we see City of Spokane sales tax distributions. This is a year-over-year analysis. And we compare ourselves to the county and the valley, just to give kind of an Eastern Washington look. We are performing better than the county and the valley currently. In fact, we are performing better than the 6 other cities we compare ourselves to. Great news.
Awesome.
Okay, that's it.
Great. Any final questions for Jessica? Not seeing any. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Connor, you want to come on up and provide the investment report.
All right, good afternoon, Council. Thank you for your time today. Today I'll be walking you through the city's investment report for Q3 and answer any questions you may have. Main topics will include our cash and investment balances and the composition and performance of the city's portfolio. So starting with cash and investments, through the end of Q3, we're sitting at $328 million, which is a $17 million reduction from the previous quarter. The main driver behind that change is an increase in capital expenditure that tends to build in June and carries through the summer months into September and even into Q4 in some cases. We did have investment purchases at the end of July of $25 million that I'll speak to in the next couple slides. And those were funded from maturities in Q1 and Q2 of this year. And they're the reason for that increase in fixed income investments from Q2 to Q3. If you look at the bar graph below, you can get a sense of our cash seasonality by quarter. We typically see an uptick from Q1 to Q2 due to an influx of property taxes in May, and following that are down quarters in Q3 and Q4 as we see an uptick in capital expenditures and debt service payments to fund our internal debts. Any questions on cash and investment balances? No? So the purpose of this next slide is to show that our portfolio is in compliance with our investment policy within all categories that we invest in, and to show what our portfolio is comprised of. As you can see, over half, or 61%, is invested in federal agency securities or debts that are issued from various programs of the U.S. government. The main changes from last quarter are in LGIP, which was 18%, and federal agencies, which was 51%, and that changes from those investment purchases that we made in July. Any questions on portfolio composition or investment policy compliance? No? All right, so that brings us to our next slide. Maturities were $7.7 million, and we made two purchases in federal agency debt, one from the Federal Farm Credit Bureau and the other from the Federal Home Loan Bank. And those were at $5 million and $20 million respectively, and you can note the timing and the rates of those particular investments. So in our team, we'd strategized around the timing of these purchases. The Fed was signaling a 50 basis point reduction, which did come to fruition in September. So what that meant for shorter term rates, such as money markets and the local government investment pool, which we house a considerable amount of our cash, will and has begun to drop as the Fed has lowered those rates. So our strategy was to ease off the LGIP slightly and put more fixed income to work at these more appealing rates of return that we're going to be dropping here in the near future. Any questions on maturities and purchases? No? So our goal for liquidity is to have a revolving door of investments that roll off, giving us the option to reinvest in short, medium, and long-term range of investments, or hold if we feel like we need to fund a liquidity event that's upcoming. So short-term liquidity sits at $186 million, or 55% of the total portfolio. The table below gives you a sense of our maturity-based cash flows from maturities and interest income over the next 12-month period. So our goal is to constantly have something coming through the door, whether it's maturities or interest. Any questions on liquidity? No? Okay. So performance-wise, our unrealized losses have been greatly reduced. That number is $3.2 million today, but this time last year was over $14 million. So why the significant change? Well, our overall demand for the investments that we had at this time last year was much lower than what we could go out and purchase in the market. So the market had improved. Therefore, the overall demand of our portfolio had been lower. And I'll repeat this each time I'm up here, but it's an on-paper loss or gain in some cases, and will only come into play in the event that we need to sell an investment. And we've been able to greatly, reduce that number as we've turned over much of our portfolio and put money into the market that's offering better rates today. And I want to speak quickly to the U.S. Treasury curve to the right. The blue line indicates, rates from Q3 of this year, and the gray line toward the top is from the Q2. And the gray line is where we purchased our last two investments. So you can see that it was a good time to make those purchases as those rates did begin to fall as we approached the end of Q3. And so how do we compare against our benchmark? So our portfolio strategy is designed around having a revolving door for reinvestment, and we bucketize our portfolio into short, medium, and long-term investing. So we need a benchmark to align with that strategy. And what we did is we built a benchmark around Bloomberg indices of short, medium, and long-term index funds. And we compared our results against that, and that's basically what we see here. So our results are off to the left in the dark blue, and the benchmark is off to the right. And so maturity and duration were relatively in line. And duration, for those that are unaware, that's really a measure of interest rate risk within a portfolio. So the higher that number is, the more exposure you're going to have to interest rate fluctuations as those occur. So that's one reason why our investment policy caps our purchases at 5 years. And another reason why we built our structure around having this short, medium, and long-term range of investing to kind of mitigate some of that exposure. And then portfolio coupon and yield, relatively unchanged from last quarter, but again, improving, outperforming coupon, and then getting closer as we continue to reinvest and improve on our yields as well. Any questions at all about the portfolio or process?
Do you know by chance kind of how our returns are comparing to the county investment pool?
I've not compared them to the county investment pool. I can put something together though that
I just think it's great to track to
Yeah.
see, because I mean we should always be performing better.
Sure. Yeah.
And so it's just a good thing to keep track of.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a good point. I can include that in the next presentation.
Oh.
One thing to touch on that is that the county generally
Microphone.
The county generally holds a majority of their investment portfolio in the LGIP. So while rates are going very, very well, the overnight rate, their performance is going to show better than ours. But over the long term, if you're in that 3 to 5 year range, and you look at it from a historic perspective, about a 5 or 10 year basis, the city generally is outperforming the counties, the counties. But we can actually put something up for you for next time.
And as apples to apples as possible. So
Yep.
I mean, taking all that into account, I think is helpful. So awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and Matt, you can probably just stay. We're going to move then to number 2, the levy spending proposal and implementation plans. And I don't know. I know we had talked about you kind of providing the presentation, but I know we've got other folks here, and so I don't know.
I brought backup.
If they want to come down, they're
Yeah.
welcome to. Or
I think when we talked about this, so just a quick clarification for anybody who's watching, the community safety sales tax, not the levy, as we're talking about what we're going to be doing with it. We don't have a levy on the ballot. We've got a sales tax. So
yes, thank you for
just
correcting
one
the wording.
clarifying point so that nobody gets surprised when
You're right.
when they're reading their ballot.
Correct.
But I'm going to turn it over to the chief to talk about strategy.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Played. Good afternoon, everybody. The implementation plan as it stands right now is a real broad overview, and we're focusing on the 7 NROs that seem to generate the most discussion amongst community members. So what we're looking at, and there's a lot of moving pieces when we're dealing with police staffing, we're looking at, I just found today, about it's at 1.9 officer attrition per month over the past 4 years. So roughly every month we're losing 2 officers, healthy attrition, retirements, medical, whatever it may be. Over the next 5 months, we're going to be gaining roughly 15 officers who are going to be going solo out of FTO. So doing the quick math, we have enough capacity there to start building the NRO plan. And what we're looking at is a scaled plan. If the sales tax does get approved, then we'll start looking at having NROs being implemented within each precinct very quickly. And by very quickly, I mean within months. What we have to do is balance that with what we're losing, and that's why I brought up attrition, as well as what we're gaining from the academy. I'm hoping to slow attrition down, and optimistically, I hope to grow, and I've talked to several of you about this, our recruitment pool so that we can start filling the actual slots that we have in BOLIA in the Basic Law Enforcement Academy classes that we haven't been able to fill over the past couple of years. And we have a couple of strategies involved. So like I said, a lot of moving pieces in this implementation plan. We hope to have it solidified and be able to present early next month. And the other part of that is it appears, just based on doing some rough math, 7 entry-level officers, salary, EREs, and equipment will run just a hair under $1 million. And that doesn't include an expansion of the fleet, so being able to buy cars for the expanded budgeted positions as well. Last thing I'll say, 7 will bring our total authorized commission strength up to 358, which I believe is the largest SPD has been historically up to this point. Any questions at all?
Questions? Please.
Thank you. So I guess just with the attrition rate, how does that sort of ratio with recruitment and retention? And then also, I guess, the question that I always have that get a lot from constituents is, by the time of going through the academy to onboarding, hitting the streets, and what that time frame kind of looks like.
So it's all a little bit squishy, starting with the last part. So once the officers go through the academy, which is a 5-month academy, then they go through field training, which if they're successful through every component of field training, they can be out in a little over 4 months. What we're finding is most of the times they need some remedial here or there, and so conservatively be another 5 months. So you're looking at 10 months from the time they go into the academy till the time they get out of a car, out on their own solo. It's an 18-month probationary period. But that's, quite frankly, where we're seeing the largest amount of attrition is during that period, that brand new period where they're coming in through the academy and into FTO. And we're taking a much deeper dive into why that's occurring right now. I forgot the first part. Oh, the attrition.
Yeah,
so that's why we were looking at attrition. I want to know what we're losing as opposed to what we're getting in. Basic math, I want to bring more people in than I'm losing, and that's why I'm working both ends, both trying to slow attrition to some degree, but also expanding our recruitment pool and actually filling the slots that were allotted, which we have not been doing.
Chief, oh, please.
So Chief, on the attrition and new officers, you spoke about equipment. Of course, you spoke about cars. So cars has been the bane of our existence here in council. So as officers are leaving and new ones are coming on, I would probably need to help understand that math more of how many more new cars we would need to meet the needs of the new officers that we are bringing into the department, since we are at our 358 highest number we've been in a while.
If we maintained our budgeted positions right now at 351, then we would maintain our fleet as it stands now. But if we're moving out to 358, and quite frankly, in my plan over the next 2 years, it'll be bigger than that, we're going to have to expand the fleet.
So, Chief, just a couple things real quick. And thank you very much for coming down and presenting on this. It's really appreciated. Just want to make sure everybody's kind of on the same playing field, so we all have the same information. But you talked about the focus on the 7 NROs, and I think that's great. My question, though, is, we've had a lot of offers, I would say, from different either organizations or private, frankly, for-profit, department stores, saying they would essentially pay the full fare for an officer. And often we have sort of turned that down, not because, obviously they would pay for it, so it's really not the resource, it's the recruitment. And so I'm really just trying to understand, how we will get those individuals in place, because we're talking about putting those 7 NROs in right away. And so how do we recruit 7 individuals right away to make up for that? And then also the other part that's in the proposal is talking about traffic. And so what is the plan for traffic? How are we going to recruit for that? Again, even as traffic calming has offered to pay the full freight for one person to, be able to deal with more cameras, that has also been turned down because of the recruitment issues. And so just trying to understand what that is going to look like and what the traffic piece looks like.
Sure, and I'm going to go back to the attrition piece because I think that's key. So if I'm losing two officers per month on average, over the next 5 months, that means I'm losing 10 officers. Over the next 5 months, it appears to be that I'm going to have 15 officers coming out of FTO and solo. So that gives me a 5 officer addition. So what I said earlier was I would start out probably with 2 and then 2 more so that I have 1 NRO in each geographic patrol precinct. And that's where we would start. Then we would continue to build on that to get the 3 additional bodies where we need them. So it's the 15 coming out versus the 10 that I'm losing that I'm building in those 4 NROs for the next few months until we can build up on that. And like I said, we're working very hard on a different type of recruiting strategy than what has been tried in the past, and have a lot of optimism on that.
Absolutely. And we could probably have a larger discussion on that, too, at some point, maybe at the Public Safety Committee or something like that. But what about traffic? How are we going to do
Traffic, we're looking at both personnel, staffing, but quite frankly, the quicker, faster, and where you'll see the quickest results may be with technology, and I know many members on this council have expressed a desire to see more cameras, and cameras used more effectively and efficiently based on data on where poor driving is occurring and where the most serious collisions, including fatal collisions, are occurring throughout the city. So we may be looking for that fast impact, so to speak, with technology in the traffic unit, and then slow rolling the staffing in there as we try and build up our staffing. On the other hand, the reason we're down on deployable folks is because we have a number of folks out on long-term light duty. Like they've been injured, they can't come back to full duty. We're hoping to use those in a more thoughtful, intentional manner in things like the camera program, as opposed to having a full-time employee commissioned officer in there handling that, and they can be out on the street.
Great. Thank you very much on that. I've advocated a lot, and as of others, for more cameras out there to obviously make the community more safe. But the one aspect of this, though, that I think is really important that shouldn't be lost, and I've even heard the mayor talk about this specifically, and that is that a traffic stop is really a great way to also affect other types, prevent other types of criminal activity. Obviously, you uncover a lot of things during those traffic stops, and so relying more on technology is great and I think generally supported, but there is a huge sort of benefit to the traffic stops. And so just wanting to understand, maybe how long, till we expand that. And then just to ask the question, is there sort of a thought that there might just be sort of a supplanting from what traffic calming is already funding with regards to more traffic investment? And is that part of maybe the plan?
I don't think supplanting, I think expanding.
Okay.
At no point in time will I ever say we're not going to have folks assigned to a traffic unit to do nothing but traffic enforcement. I do believe in that. And every morning I come in through a garage and I look at a bunch of motorcycles that have been sitting there unused for quite some time now. So that's sort of irritating. But calls for service are what they are. And I don't feel that cutting services to one part of the city to build up on a traffic unit is entirely productive, but it's certainly something that we're looking out on the horizon. And I totally agree. There a lot more can come out of a traffic stop, including good community, positive community engagement, crime prevention, crime detection, a whole host of different things that can occur.
Very good. Please.
Yeah, and this was going to be my question, which is, one of the reasons why the NROs went away was because the calls for service became so high. And so how is that going to affect patrol's ability to respond to calls?
It's hard for me to expound on things that I had no control over in the past. I can tell you that we're looking at multiple different systems and the way we respond to those systems, from 911 to crime check to what calls are actually being dispatched, what calls that need a police officer as opposed to what calls deserve a call back. And are there calls that actually police officers should not be going to? And we're exploring different alternatives on what's potentially viable for someone other than a police officer to go to. So calls for service are ticking down. The workload is still there, but I think we can start using in a smart way some data and analysis to see, are we putting our work in the right hands and at the right time, and are we responding to the right calls?
Anything else? Okay. Well, if Matt and Maggie want to round it out, maybe with the other aspects of this, that'd be great. And last thing I would just say is, as far as traffic goes, would just love to see now and in the future just more emphasis on neighborhoods. I think we tend to focus more on the arterials, but more in the neighborhoods would be great. So, thank you.
Yeah, happy to answer any other questions. Obviously, several pillars to the community safety sales tax, police being one of them, fire being the other major pillar, and really the investment lying there within the capital. Knowing that capital, and just briefly ago when Jessica mentioned it, that capital costs have been deferred for several years, really started back 3-4 years ago because it was one of the easiest things to pull out of the budget, making that strategic investment to fund not only the rigs on the street, but also their stations. They're in some critical need of repair. So we've worked with Chief O'Berg, Maggie, myself, have worked with Chief O'Berg, Tom, as well as Dave, kind of the chief executive suite to determine what those critical needs are. The good news, bad news, I guess, is that with the lead times being what they are for the rigs, we have the ability to initiate orders, and basically what we're going to do is a little bit of what we've done this year is reinvent the SIP program and do a line of credit on our internal lending. And so what that does, that allows us to initiate the purchase and not start paying until we actually receive delivery of the product, which is actually best practice, because then we're actually paying for it as we're getting the use of it rather than paying for it up front. And then we can put the money to work that we have right now for those critical need station repairs. And so that's really our plan for the fire side. Again, the other large component of this being police ombuds. We're enhancing staffing there. That's something that we've heard both from the Guild as well as community members and council, that there needs to be enhanced staffing, training, and development. That is part of this infrastructure piece that I believe is going to happen right away. And then last but not least, of course, the community courts and criminal justice system. We've seen great things that have happened with the pilot program that was initially funded by council, a year and a half ago, with the criminal justice specialists as well as the criminal justice counselors. That is going to be a continuation of really finding the permanent funding for that, so that we can defray a little bit of our jail costs and mitigate some of the ongoing issues that we're seeing with the population.
Okay. Do we have questions for Matt on that?
Do you want to add anything?
Appreciate that. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys, coming down and providing this information. I just think there hadn't been enough just discussion and emphasis on how this would sort of move forward. And so if it does pass, it's just good to have, I think, these details in mind. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate your support on this, because definitely are doing our best to put the money to work right away. And I think that that's been a main point of the discussion with the administration as well as the chief, Maggie, myself, of how do we not make this money just sit stagnant as we're waiting for recruitment or we're waiting for rigs to get here. How do we maximize the dollars that are here on our doorstep as soon as we receive them? So thank you for all your help.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. And really appreciate the clear strategic thinking by the chief on a number of these issues, so thank you. All right, we are moving along to the resolution in support of the Stop Smuggling Illicit Synthetic Drugs measure. I'm not sure what exactly, if it's a resolution or a, okay. Adam, if you want to give us some info.
Yeah, so this resolution just adds this is a big mouthful here, the Stop Smuggling Illicit Synthetic Drugs on U.S. Transportation Networks Act of 2024 to the federal legislative agenda. It's sponsored by Senator Cantwell, and it's quite a broad bill, but a couple of local things that Chief Hall and Sheriff Knowles talked about at a press availability with the Senator last week was the creation of a grant program that would fund some emerging detection technology and some canines and other things that would really help us in some of our coordination with our federal law enforcement partners on some of the detection on the commercial transportation routes to try to get at some of the smuggling issues around illicit fentanyl.
Great. Questions? I guess my only question, so this is a federal law that's proposed by Senator Cantwell?
Correct.
And obviously we can put it on our legislative agenda and all that. I guess just precedent-wise, have we typically passed resolutions in support of specific federal laws? I'm just not sure if we've done that before, but not to say we can't now, but I just curious if we have done that in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I guess I would be curious to learn more about kind of the timeline of, when they're thinking of introducing this and what that looks like on a companion bill too.
So it's been introduced already. The one thing about this bill, I think that's a little bit different, and I don't know the council's process previously about adding stuff to the agenda, but they reached out to us early on, Senator Cantwell's office and the folks from Commerce, and asked for our feedback on this specific bill. So this one's a little bit different, whereas I think some of our other legislative items are not.
More passive. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay, any other questions, thoughts? No. All right, thank you, Adam.
Cool, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next up, let's go to Tim for the CME cable channel agreement.
Hello, Council President, Council members. This is for the PEG funding for Community Minded Enterprises that operates Community Minded Television, which is the public access portion of the PEG funding. So this is just to support, give them the money that they need to, one, pay for the equipment they've already paid for to keep the channel operating for the year, and purchase equipment for use through the PEG for the future.
Do we have questions for Tim?
Any questions?
So, Tim, I know we have been looking at other partnerships through this particular program, some with the library. As I know it's going to community-minded enterprise right now, but are there any other collaborations, or does it have to be this sole entity that the money runs through for other partnerships?
It doesn't have to be this sole entity. It should be a nonprofit, or the library would work. This particular funding here is for the year we're currently in. We're just really behind. So this would be to support who has it and who has been operating it for 2024. As far as any partnerships in the future, whether it be the library or somebody else, there could be the possibility of somebody other than CME running the public access portion, or CME working through CMTV with the library to have more locations for the equipment to be available for the public. There's various ways we could do that.
Okay, thank you.
So on the library note, I mean, I think just the numbers I've seen show that they're probably going to be a bit beyond their levy dollars, and so the general fund will have to support. But there's a number of positions that they have that specifically relate to exactly this sort of activity. And so I'm just wondering why, I guess, it's only $10,000 to catch up CME with what they've already spent. Why not consider making that move to the library, given that they've got the people, they've got the tech, they've got the desire, clearly, to do this? Why not move it there, where I think it'd be much more publicly accessible?
And I think that's something we're currently exploring. Currently, some of the pain points that CME has identified in operating this public access channel, the library would make sense to solve some of those pain points, the educating the public on what's available for them, and educate, having the staff to check out the equipment, all of the things that community-minded enterprises has to pay out of their pocket to make this useful for the public. It's already built into the library, which is why I think that's been brought up and why we're discussing that. As to the equipment that they're asking to purchase is some of it's specific cameras, some of it's other production equipment that would, if it moved to any other entity, whether it be another nonprofit or the library, that equipment would move as well.
Well, and on that note, questions. So I just bring it up real quick. So I do seriously question just the appropriateness of purchasing what amounts to probably a $25,000 camera system in the Blackmagic Ursa 12K. As some people probably don't know this, I went to film school and had a lot of hands-on. Would have never had access to something even at this level. I mean, this is equivalent to sort of Super 35. Would have not had access to that. I'm just curious, in your mind, what is the appropriateness of using PEG dollars, which is a very limited amount of money meant to increase access for the public, in using a significant portion of those to purchase a single camera that nobody, I think, at CME likely knows how to use or very well. Neither does many in the public, and so I'm just curious. Your thoughts on that?
I think I've gone through that same thought process and tried to be open-minded in understanding. I asked the question. One of the things they brought up in that 12K camera is that it's future-proofing. These cameras should last for a while, and as technology moves fast, at least they're buying something that will still be viable in 5-6 years. The other aspect to it, from my point of view, is they do have 4K, some 6K cameras available, and that stuff's not being utilized as much as it should. And there's two ways for me to look at that. One, because people don't know about it as much, they're not getting it. But even when I went there, new to this job, to try to understand how this system works, I went to one of the places where they check out equipment. 12 people had checked it out. And I said, well, what content was created out of those checkouts? None. Part of that is because the people who are checking this out didn't go to film school. They don't know. So even the simpler cameras that are simpler than this 12K camera, they don't know how to use, right? So why a 12K camera? Well, we all have a 4K camera in our pocket, right? My thought process on this one was that maybe we could find a market of people who would utilize that 12K camera. The film school students, like you were once, couldn't have access to a fancy camera. Well, if it's out there and we've informed, whether it be all of the local schools that teach, that their students can come rent this camera for 2-3 days to do a short film or shoot or student project, or the groups that we have in town that are all about the art of filmmaking. There's a group called We Few, which is filmmakers of Eastern Washington, and the Spokane Film Project. One of their mandates, both of them, is to get people together and go create something just for fun, just for learning experiences. And if I imagine now they're using the cameras that somebody already owns, that's probably a $5,000, $10,000 camera package. Well, this might allow them to step up their game and try to learn the next more advanced thing. But yes, it's more advanced than most people would be able to use, and so those are the only groups that I could see as using this. But even the other cameras aren't getting used as much now because it's hard to fulfill this mandate in the current state of our technology in the world.
Yeah, I guess I just think it's a very, very narrow sliver of individuals who would utilize something like this. I mean, it's great. If I was a film student, certainly I would be drooling over the opportunity. Don't get me wrong. Me
too.
For the use of PEG fees, that's really where I'm caught up in this. And so if it was a university buying it or somebody else, I wouldn't have the same. So anyway, Councilmember Beagle.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I still can't get over every single time I hear film school graduate Michael Cathcart. It still takes me by surprise every time. Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah. Nothing constructive to add to the conversation, just that. Yeah.
All right. Anything else to ask or comment on? Okay. Tim, thank you very much for the presentation. Next up, we have Michelle Murray talking about ARPA funding updates and Engagement Navigator Awards.
Good afternoon. I have quite the list for you today.
Very good.
Thank you very much for your time. I am just bringing forth to you some awards, some MOUs, and some resolutions. So the first one is the Engagement Navigators Award. The City Council had approved $3 million in ARPA dollars in March of 2024 to help provide culturally appropriate behavioral health services and interventions for the risk and the low-income youth. As part of that $3 million, there's $400,000 left. And we put out a notice of funding for local organizations to apply and to hire equity navigators and within 2 multicultural centers. We had 11 applications, and we are bringing forth a recommendation of 2 awards for $200,000 apiece, and they will be multi-year awards to support 2 equity navigators and 2 facilities, $75,000 for salaries and $25K for supplies.
In their applications, did they articulate kind of what the role of this individual would be if they won the award?
They're supposed to, the applications were, and they wrote their applications too, that they are going to be working with Inovia, with the other equity navigators that they hired. I think they placed 5 of them in the local area in other centers, and they're supposed to be coordinating with them to develop the whole big, broad.
Questions on this part? No? Okay.
Okay. Next in line is the Youth Sports Awards. So, City Council approved $250,000 in ARPA awards on June 10th, 2024, to provide scholarships and equipment for youth sports. The city received 20 applications that were all scored and awarded accordingly to 5 organizations at $50,000 apiece for scholarships and equipment.
Can you just go over who those organizations are?
Sure. It's if you could save just one, $50,000. They're all $50,000. Spokane Eastside Reunion Association, 90 Plus Project, YMCA of the Inland Northwest, and Union Football.
Questions on this? Go ahead.
Sorry. I'll ask it another time.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, moving on.
Next is the MOU for language access. So you know that these ARPA dollars have to be under contract or encumbered by the end of this year. This MOU is between, I didn't write that, it's between the city administration and city IT, and to continue on doing what they're doing for all the language access, the tools that they're putting up online for.
The tool is awesome, by the way.
Yeah,
and
good.
I think we're going to try and do a presentation at the next finance. So.
Oh, awesome, yeah. So they're still working on that. They have a contracted employee through Volt that's been doing the web development. But because there was no real way to like put the remaining of these funds under contract, I did this MOU, and per this MOU, with the Department of Treasury, it is considered encumbered, and so it will be safely set aside just for this purpose, and we have until 26 to spend it.
Great. Okay. Questions? No?
And it's for the MOU says 259, but there's like 169 left.
Okay.
I think they've spent a good majority of it. The next one is the ARPA Child Care Award. The City Council recently reallocated some funding, and it joined some other funding from previously in 2022 to have an amount of $500,000, and we did a NOFA for to solicit applications from child care organizations that have the capacity to expand services for non-traditional child care hours. The applications closed on September 20th, 2024, and the city received 5 applications, and we are recommending 1 award to raise development for the expansion to provide child care during non-traditional hours.
So on that, I guess I would ask, why would the PDA not get considered in that? Because I know they applied.
They did.
And with a pretty substantial level of investment that's going on, I was just curious why that would not be considered.
For those child care dollars, they were supposed to be last-in dollars for a child care facility.
Yeah.
And so the raised development was the one that was truly last-in dollars. They have all the money except for this last chunk. And the other organizations that had applied didn't have all the money for that facility.
Was that in the RFP last in?
Yes.
Okay.
Any questions? Any other questions? Okay.
No, we can keep going.
The next one is an MOU for the working family tax credit. This was $250,000 was allocated on June 10th, 2024 for a marketing campaign to get for a community-based organization and through advertising to market the availability and educate on the working family tax credit. Again, this is an MOU because the nature of the work, you can't just go do a contract. So I did the MOU so that the money is considered encumbered by the Department of Treasury.
So who's doing the campaign then?
Aaron?
So Aaron's doing the portion of the MOU, and then we had some other contracts that were.
But who? I guess who's the MO? If like the purpose is to promote this tax credit. So who's the entity that will be doing the work to promote the tax credit?
So we did 2 contracts, one with SNAP and one with
Oasis.
Races. They're marketing it. And then Aaron Hutt is in charge of the advertising, so they'll be doing, I think there was supposed to be a press release today? Tomorrow. And they're doing advertising with KXLY, Inlander, KHQ.
Aaron Hutt is doing the
Yes.
advertising. Okay, so it's internal in the
Yes.
city. Okay, all right. So we're the ones basically doing the marketing campaign.
Correct.
All right, okay.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, that helps. Thank you.
And then the next MOU is money that was allocated for the criminal justice services to support the 10 or 11 criminal justice specialists that their funding ended in June 30th of 2024. This was to carry them throughout the year. Again, it's wages. Can't literally put that under contract. So this is just an MOU saying the city has this money to pay for these positions through the end of this year. And it actually, the MOU lets it so that if somebody leaves and there's some left, they can, as long as they're employed by December 31st, they can continue to be employed and get covered by this.
So how have they been paying the salaries then since June? Because I thought that was why we did this sort of on an emergency basis, right?
Well, they've been employed and they've continued, so nothing changed. And it just was coming out of the general fund. We just did our first quarterly billing and then we just put the money back.
So it's not going to happen, but if this were to be voted down, essentially, that would just have to be covered from what reserves? Is that essentially what would happen?
No, it wouldn't be covered reserved. It still could be covered by this. This is just a mechanism so that if it's not spent by 12/31, I'm okay until 12/30/26.
Okay, gotcha.
Then I have the Clean and Safe Award. So this ordinance was passed on June 10th as well, where you allocated $503,000 toward clean, safe neighborhoods. We awarded $503,000 to the Downtown Spokane Partnership. Then we went out for RFP in September for another organization to apply for this funding for clean and safe. There was 2 applications that were scored, and the recommendation administration is to award $250,000 to Career Path Services.
Okay.
And then last but
So
not
just
least,
clarification on that, that's 750,000 that went out? Or just the 503?
just the 503.
So I thought you said 503 was given
Sorry,
to DSP.
203 was given to DSP.
So 203 went to DSP and 300 was awarded to Career Path Services.
Sorry. 253 went to DSP.
Okay.
250 went to.
Thank you, okay.
And then last but not least is the Neighborhood Business District Award. This one was awarded, these funds were allocated in February of 2022. I will admit this was our most difficult RFP that we put out, and hence why it's taken so long. But to carry out the objective, the City of Spokane published a notice of funding that closed on September 13, 2024, to solicit cost proposals from organizations to administer $2 million in funds across the neighborhood districts for projects and support. The city received 2 applications that were scored, and administration is recommending the award to the Washington Trust for Historic Preservation for $2,447,150, of which approximately $203,000 is for administrative costs. The contract will be effective upon signature and run through November 30th of 2026.
Who's the organization doing that again?
Washington Trust for Historic Preservation.
Okay. That doesn't seem to me to have a great nexus, and maybe I'm wrong on that. Do they have a history in this?
They have something that's called the Main Street Program, and it's on the west side. Okay.
Yeah, that's just within the office is the Main Street program. That's more familiar, and they have a local connection too.
Yeah.
Like local staff in Spokane.
So Main Street is really who got it. They just happen to be a part of the Washington Trust for,
Well,
okay.
it's a program that, from when I read the application, my understanding is that it's a program that's already existing, that has already done this type of work, and then it's created a network. And that network is where the business districts can remain and retain as part of that network to use the resources.
And who's the other one who responded to the RFP?
Who's what?
You said 2 responded to the RFP. Who was the other?
Uncommon Bridges.
Uncommon Bridges. Okay.
Okay. Other questions?
I just add that the Main Street's funded by the state right now too. So I was just pulling up their responses here, and I think it'll make a lot more sense. The name itself doesn't sound accurate, but when you read the description of what they do, it's in alignment.
I do believe they have done some regional work in like Colville and Colfax to get an idea of how it works at the nexus point of historic preservation, economic development, and kind of business advertising.
Well, I wonder when this is on briefing, if maybe we could just get a slide of just some other additional information about what they plan to do or how they plan to do it. Something simple.
Okay.
I will comment, I was in Colville on Friday, and they had helped them with their downtown renovation, came in, did an assessment, they had some older buildings, how they were repurposed, and they're extremely happy with the work that was done for them. So that was exciting because I hadn't had a personal testament to this organization.
Yeah, and I was giving no commentary on the organization. It just sounded like not a business district organization, so.
Yeah. Very good. Well, again, I'm glad I got to hear firsthand that it has worked on this side of the state. And their downtown is, I would say, Hilliard-ish, in older buildings, repurposed, kind of was dying, reinvigorated, so.
Anything else for us?
No, and I think this wraps up the ARPA stuff, so let's.
Oh, I have a feeling we'll be back here in December.
How could you?
For sure. Last item is ordinance amending 1201-010 minor sidewalk repairs. Jason Ruffing is going to present.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the flexibility. This is just one component of obviously a huge ongoing discussion about sidewalks. This is relatively specific to code enforcement frustrations and attempting to integrate with other partner departments. A little bit of background quickly. Code enforcement sends sidewalk letters to property owners when we receive a complaint about a sidewalk deficiency. It could be a lift in a panel, could be cracking, missing components of a sidewalk system. We send a notice, notify the adjacent owner of their responsibility and potential liability. We send a second notice, and the Office of the City Attorney sends a third letter. We don't typically cite for these violations. It's a case type that's very much in the works and new to us. When this started back, I think 2019 or so, is when we started to get involved with these complaint types. It really was a commercial downtown focus for these complaints. You've all seen various issues with downtown sidewalks. In recent years, that has quickly transitioned to a neighborhood-centric complaint type. We receive batches of them. An inspector last week found a new batch of about 20 new sidewalk complaints, and these are happening more and more in neighborhoods, which means property owners are calling us asking how to comply, which has pointed out some administrative gaps and frustrations for owners and the various city departments. This is really just an attempt to solve a sliver of a problem related to licensing, bonding, and insurance requirements that are pretty onerous. In the city of Spokane, all work in the right-of-way has to be done by specific types of licensed and bonded contractors. So if an owner gets a sidewalk letter for a pretty minor gap in their sidewalk, and if they say, "Can I fix this?" we would say, you need to talk to the Development Services Center, but most likely not if you're not a licensed and bonded contractor with his insurance. This is just an attempt to lower that barrier so that property owners can conduct minor repairs. We will set the scoping for what minor repairs means. They'll still need to obtain a permit and call for an inspection so that we can verify that the work is safe, that we have a safe passageway for pedestrians, et cetera. And our hope for the outcome of this is that we'll see faster compliance, because I'm sure you've all heard the horror stories from neighbors as well about the timelines that they get back from contractors when they try to hire this specific type of contractor, and more importantly, the costs. We're hearing things like $5,000 to $10,000 for very minor concrete maintenance work. So we're hoping that this proposed change results in faster compliance, still permits and inspections so that there's oversight of that work, but ultimately the goal here is safer sidewalks. And again, this is just about minor repairs to existing sidewalks. There's going to be situations where all of those standards still need to be applied. If a full sidewalk replacement is going to occur, if we're talking about multiple blocks, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot, making it easier for folks to just be able to repair it. What's the cost for that permit?
It really depends on the amount of, so the type of permit is an obstruction permit. So the permit is just because doing that work inherently obstructs the right-of-way. So it's an obstruction permit. I believe the cost depends on the length of time that it is obstructed, very similar to any other construction project. In talking with our DSC colleagues, they would say a typical right-of-way obstruction permit for a limited period of time is probably around $100.
Okay. I would just say, if we're wanting to encourage this behavior, as little cost, I get the permit, I get the inspections, everything like that, but as little cost as possible to the people doing the repair work, I think would encourage, quicker repairs. And so maybe, I don't even know if $100 is little enough. I might encourage maybe just a little bit less.
Gotcha. Noted. And again, the big swing that we're trying to accomplish here is just that disparity in cost compared to a contractor. We're talking about a pretty manageable job for a minor repair, for some maintenance, a new surface coat because of some spalling where it's deteriorated on the surface. Cost is certainly a consideration. I think that's a huge factor as well.
Yeah, I would agree. I think waiving that permit fee, frankly, would be a good idea. At least on a trial basis, see if that might not just be a small thing that might be encouraging of more folks. Plus the changes in this as well. But the second piece, just real quick, I was going to ask is, we started during COVID doing a lot more inspections via video camera, and rather than having an inspector have to come out and just look at a little square on the sidewalk, is there not a way that they could sort of film it? They can walk on it. They can show all the angles. I mean, is there not a way that we could do that to save frankly, the time, but also the cost of that inspector? Because I'm guessing we're not going to waive that inspection fee, even if we waive the permit fee. So just trying to get a sense of that.
Yeah, so I think, and again, I'm not technically in the DSC, so I may be incorrect, but I think the inspection fee and the permit fee are one and the same.
Okay.
So I think that is the cost, is just essentially accounting for that person's time. We can certainly have that discussion with DSC about some potential other ideas on permit costs.
Great.
I actually really like the idea of a trial basis if we did a few months to see if waiving of the permit fee actually encouraged people to come in and do it quicker, and if it didn't, then maybe we remove that. But if we did a few month trial on that, I think that might make some sense.
Kitty? Councilmember Klitzky?
Thank you. It might be helpful if we do that, if we know what our cost recovery number is for that.
Yeah.
Very good. Anything else on this topic? Seeing none? Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Our last item here is just our updates. I've got the list somewhere. Here it is. Council Office Operations Work Group. That's first up.
That's us.
Yeah, we do have a meeting this week.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Jacoby, you want to come down and just give a brief little 30-second.
I'd say. We have a retreat on Friday.
Yeah.
So that'll.
And maybe we could restructure this so that it makes a little bit more sense for me to just brief this. But I have a couple of updates for y'all if you just want me to go into my updates, Councilmember Cathcart. Okay. So in addition to my normal kind of day-to-day office management, including on-base and staffing, some of these work groups like the Council Ops and ARPA work group, and the neighborhood work group, which have all been moving along pretty well. This month I worked with HR to roll out a new time tracking system for our legislative assistants, and that is happening through PeopleSoft and gets us up to compliance with the new overtime eligibility guidelines for those positions. I've also been working with various staff and council members on hiring our council office interns. We put out 3 internships, data science, photo video, and a transportation intern. And the transportation intern, William Hellman, started today. He was just at the start of this meeting. And he's going to be supervised day-to-day by Abby Martin. And so if you have any questions, concerns, input on the work that he's going to be doing, check in with Abby. And I'm sure she's already introduced most of you to William. We have our photo video individual starting in 2 weeks, and we're into our final round of interviews for our data science intern position. These were some outstanding candidates. I think I'm really happy with the group of folks who applied and who we're hiring for these roles. Next, I've also been planning the council office retreat. That'll be this Friday at the Pavilion, 11 to 3-ish. The agenda for the retreat is going to start with a staff proposal for changes to council rules. So that's going to be me and Chris kind of going over some low-hanging fruit in terms of adjustments we've run into this year, or adjustments that need to be made based on issues we ran into this year with the rules. Those should be relatively non-controversial. I would like to transition us in the second half of our council rules discussion to some bigger ideas, some brainstorming around meeting place, time, location, kind of get your all feedback and council staff's feedback on what's working and what's not with our standard reoccurring meetings. And then based on that feedback, I plan to work with Chris to get an updated proposal, probably from the ops group, in front of you all next Finance Committee meeting, so that we can get that teed up for approval this year, 2024, at our last meeting, or either the 9th or the 16th. I also continue to work with Webb on our transition away from our Google form for our testimony sign-up system into something that's integrated with the website. They are hoping to get me a sandbox to play in and experiment with sometime in the next couple of weeks, and I'll be sure to share that out with you and get your feedback on how that's looking. Still hoping to roll that out, hopefully very early into next year. And in the next couple of months, I'm going to be creating new meeting invites and updating the city council calendar with our 2025 meetings. I've been asked by IT to look at WebEx, and if that is still the only platform that works for our hybrid meeting capabilities, or if we're able to transition to Teams. That my main concern is security. With WebEx, I'm able to do a WebEx event where I can control who's elevated and then who can go back down to a participant level in our legislative meetings, and I think that's pretty important to be able to have that ability.
If it's working, why change?
It costs more to maintain those licenses.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right. Thanks you very much. ARPA work group?
Well, I think we heard from Michelle, so I think we're done.
All right, we can move forward. Equity Subcommittee, Councilmember Navarrete is not here.
She's online.
Oh, is she online? Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, okay. Councilmember.
I am.
Hey, thank you. Do you want to provide an update if there is one?
Yes. So for Equity Subcommittee, we had Chief Hall present and introduce himself and talk about his goals and priorities, then talked about how the Equity Subcommittee can further engage with council and with the community to be more effective in their mission.
Okay, great. Let's see, Inspector General, not happening. Language Access Work Group. There has not been a work group meeting, but I will tell you that we had a very brief preview of the tool that's been put together for language access at our Finance and Administration agenda setting meeting, and it's pretty darn cool. There's still some work to be done to just improve it, and it's going to take some time and whatnot, but it's a really neat looking tool, and I'm really excited to see this thing rolled out and see what we might be able to accomplish. So that's great. Legislative Committee.
Let's see, we didn't meet last week, but I think we're on track to have everything ready for the next FNA for council. Still kind of finalizing some of the priorities. I know that there's been some adjustments since the last meeting. As we kind of get into November, and we look at committee days, committee assignments, new House and Senate leadership. I think a lot of our priorities will be reflecting that, and yeah.
I'll just comment. Usually in December, we have all our elected legislators come to council. This year has been a real struggle with scheduling, so we don't know if that will be happening this year, just for scheduling purposes. So more to come on that.
Has there been any thoughts of like splitting it up, maybe doing, as schedule allows, this group here and this group there?
Yeah. I think if there's a way to maybe demarcate some of those meetings so people could still get some time with legislators, it'd be good.
Absolutely. And everybody's can always meet with legislators individually as well. Investment committee, there's not been a meeting. Sirs?
Sirs, we had a good quarter for our investments, going well. Talked deaths, retirements, payouts. Sirs.
Aging long-term care and AWC?
Well, I'll tell you, it is a season of retreats. Aging long-term care will be having their retreat on November the 8th. We are almost completely in our new location, which is the Rock Point building from our old location, which is on Washington. So actually, it's doing very well at this point in time.
Okay. AWC as well?
Councilmember Zapone's going to a conference. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, so next month I'm headed to the National League of Cities Conference in Tampa, which I just found out today the hotel is damaged, so I'm having to find a new location to stay. But this will be the next one. I went to St. Louis last year and Kansas City before that. Lots of great information and ideas to bring back that I'll be happy to share with you all about that coming back. And then we have a board meeting in December too.
Approving our budget, so thank you.
Okay. Fire pension, we did actually have some interesting stuff here recently. The Fire Pension Board agreed to allocate $2 million towards fire capital in the next biennial budget. And there's an MOU related to that that'll likely come to this council for consideration. And then just a side note that's sort of an ongoing thing is Kate our budget director, had identified some transfers out of the fire pension fund over the last 4 or 5 years, and just trying to track down sort of what the authorizing document was related to that. And just so far have not found it exactly, but we're trying to figure that out so that we know exactly what authorized those transfers, because I've been here and I don't recall any approvals on those. So
that $2 million transfer, what does that do for the funding level?
It's and it's specific to fire capital, so it's only going to address things I think in the CIP. I don't know how it affects things overall. I don't know, but this has been a big push by the administration as well as the fire board members. They actually brought this plan forward, and I'm forgetting now the other piece to this.
The other piece was the increase of death benefits to survivors. Right. It was $1,000.
It was $500. The state changed it to $1,000.
And then the Fire Pension Board wanted to increase that. So what this does do, it pushes out one more year the fully funded fire pension. So instead of
7 or 8,
28, it'll go out to 2029 that fund will be fully funded. So they were comfortable with that. In fact, Councilmember Cathcart and I were kind of pushing back on it, but they were adamant this is how they wanted to go. So.
Yeah, I guess just for context, the CSRS board is about 57% funded, so not even close.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a little different because obviously these are folks who are no longer active. Police pension?
I don't have a report because we'll be meeting next week.
Okay. Lodging tax advisory committee and board.
I will tell you, we are in our process of granting awards between Visit Spokane, Spokane Sports, the PFD. These are the larger amounts of monies going, so that will be going before the board in 2 weeks. Harry Sladich is the chair of that, so we'll see how that falls out.
Okay. Councilmember Zapone?
Yeah, the tourism and cultural investments, we did get word that contracts still need to get done, so I'll follow up with finance after this, but we awarded those earlier in the year. And then TPA also met this last month just giving updates. That primarily goes to Visit Spokane and the Sports Commission and talking about their annual reports and investments to attract lots of people. There was some discussion too about state legislation that we might want to add to our legislative about a tourism improvement district, which would be created at the state level, and that the state, compared to other states, is underfunding a lot of tourism investment, which has a return on our dollars by bringing more people. So something that we may want to add to our agenda as support.
All right, good information. UDPDA.
I'm not going to give a report because I'm going to have Julie come. They have a lot going on in the University District down there with potential expansions. They've done some research and had some people come in as to what they can do and the growth and development of that block. So I think we need a whole presentation from them.
Yeah, and we plan to have Juliet at this meeting. Unfortunately, her schedule conflicted, so she will be at our next finance meeting to provide that update.
She's confirmed.
Great.
Oh, good.
Visit Spokane. Anything more on that?
Kind of nothing more.
Okay. West Plains PDA.
We have not had a meeting. Our director has been traveling a lot for recruitment, so more to come.
All right, and lastly, Northeast PDA. I'm really excited. We had our meeting to determine who our design build firm is going to be for the big project on Haven and Wellesley, and so that was selected. We haven't voted on it officially yet. That will be at our next meeting, but we've got that selected, and we're really excited to be moving forward with what's going to be a really exciting and hopefully iconic development there that's going to provide a lot of benefits to the community with regards to childcare. So that's the big one right now. Other than that, I will just say, just for the good of the order here, that there was a really fun trunk or treat on Market Street this past weekend, and it was just a real fun time, and the PDA did participate in that. They were one of the ones giving out candy to the kids coming by, but that was one of the most fun. My son had a great time. I'll just put it that way. He really enjoyed it, and I was having a blast watching him enjoy it. So I was glad to see that they did that and look forward to them doing more of those types of events.
Who's monitoring all the candy?
It's put away. It's put away.
Okay.
Dad tax.
That's right. That's right. That is it for the list. So if there's nothing else for the good of Councilmember Kulitsky.
I was recently appointed to the Veterans Affairs Committee.
Oh. Okay.
Apparently, you have to be a veteran to serve on it. They made me send in my DD 214, so we haven't been represented there in a while, and I'm not sure which committee we might want to add it to, but I'm happy to report out when they have a meeting.
I think this is a reasonable one, but I'm open to whatever. So, is there any updates yet, or just that you've been appointed?
I haven't been to a meeting yet, but
Okay.
they finally approved my application. So.
Awesome. All right. Very good.
And we're going to see if Alex has a report.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Alex. Please. I should have brought you up when we were talking about language access.
Yeah, today I just have a very quick report. I guess I'm shorter than this. So yeah, on top of language access and equity subcommittee, just a reminder that the ONS Neighborhood Summit's also this Saturday. So I've been working with a neighborhood council member to do presentations for them. And then otherwise, just early on conversations on a few different programs, I think, with various council members, whether it's learning more about the Covenant Home Ownership Program or DSHS programs on economic justice, and then learning opportunities tonight at the NAACP's Restorative Justice. So kind of a Gonzaga professor kind of talking about what restorative justice is and processes. So 101, that'll be tonight. And one thing that I think I have to figure out for next year is how our community days are going to look like and how can we better organize them. So.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. Well, we will adjourn this meeting, and I believe our next is the Monday just prior to Thanksgiving, and so hopefully everybody will be here and able to tune in. So thanks, everybody. We're adjourned.